Right, for this guys we need the case axle flow 250 series harvester. There's a reason why I'm using this particular harvester, but it should work with any harvester that has a rear hitch on it. Next we're going to need a Lizard 3-point hitch drawbar. Thirdly, we're going to need a front loader for quad track. Trying to get my words out there. And last but not least, we're going to need the John Deere 3765. Now you can do this with a normal loading wagon, but the problem with a loading wagon is the highest I've seen is around about 56, 57, 58, something like that litres, but I'll go through that in a minute. Right, so the first thing we're doing is going to get a harvester. Okay, so set it up the way you want it, extended tank or whatever, but the most important thing is the rear hitch. Now as you have a look, it says no at the moment. We'll go across to yes, and it puts a hitch right underneath, which is not going to be any good to us. Now there's two types of extended hitches. There's one that goes, which is the 400, which goes slightly to the left hand side, and 620, which is in the center. The one that goes into the 400 is the one we need. Okay. And I would get a bigger engine if you can, because you're going to be pulling stuff along, so you're going to need it. Next, what we're going to need is a header, otherwise we're going to have trouble harvesting without it. Any header will do. It doesn't matter about the tool control height mod on this, or whether you've got the header that will suit that, because it's going to be limited to what you're pulling and not the harvester itself. Okay, so don't worry too much about that. Okay, next we're going to go to miscellaneous, and we're going to get our drawbar. And we want the drawbar with a configuration of with electric cables. Then we're going to get our front lifter. Which is there. Good stuff. Right, lovely. Right, so now we've got that. Now we've got to put it all together. So first thing we're going to do is get the harvester out of the way. In fact, looking at that drawbar down there, I think the first thing I'm going to do is move that drawbar. You can pick these drawbars up, by the way, because it's not very heavy. So best thing to do really is to stick it behind the front lifter, so that when you connect with the harvester, it's all lined up ready for you. I'm just going to plonk that down there. Okay, I'm going to jump in the harvester. It's also important to make sure you do unfold the harvester, because we need to get that pipe out of the way and get it straight. So we're going to do that in a minute. Brakes on here are shocking. I'll give you a heads up on that. Now this front lifter should attach to anything that has a drawbar on it or a hitch on it. Okay, so if you have a lorry, you can use a lorry for it, or truck. Yeah, pretty much anything that's got a hitch, this front lifter will attach to it. Okay, so we're going to get the header now, pick the header up, get that attached, and then the harvester all set up then. God, brakes are really bad on this. I'll give you a warning on that. Fold that up. Right, now we're going to go to forage harvester headers, because that's what it will come under. And then somewhere near the end where the mods are, we've got the 3765, so we're going to purchase one of them as well. Okay, and we're going to hitch that up. Now, as I said before, you can just put a standard loading wagon on the back of here, on the same setup that I've got on the harvester now. The only problem with the loading wagon is the fact that it's got a capacity of probably no more than about 56 to 58,000 litres, depending which one you go for. The issue there is then you've then got to worry about unloading the loading wagon as well as unloading the harvester. This forest header. Well, it's classed as a header, but it's not. It's actually a forest, a loading wagon, to a degree. So there's no limit to the capacity. I've had I think 375,000 litres in it at one point. Obviously I'm not going to do that now, but yeah, just to let you know, there is no limitation, which is why I'm using this particular forage harvester. So what we need to do now is we need to unfold the harvester. Oops, wrong pipe. Okay, now what we need to do now is we need to turn on the forage harvester, but the only way we can do that is by unpacking it or unfolding it, and then unfolding the pipe. Now if you see, once you start to unfold it, it actually offsets it from the back of the harvester, which is not what we want. So once we've turned it on, well, they're going to fold the pipe back up to get the pipe out of the way. Otherwise, if you try and do a left hand turn, the pipes are going to clash, and then we're going to fold the harvester. Now you can see now it goes back in line to the back of the harvester. And there you go, straw collected as you harvest. Now you will notice it's only harvesting at 6 miles an hour. Normal harvester probably harvests around about 7 or 8. So there's not a lot of difference. The reason being is because of the forest harvester on the back. That's why it's going a little bit slower. But if you look at how long it's going to take you to harvest the field and then go and get a loading wagon, collect the straw and empty it, collect the straw, empty it, collect the straw, empty it, this is just, it's going to save you time in the long run. Okay, and the good thing about this is once you get that pipe down, it's going to pretty much follow wherever the harvester goes. Now it is really important to keep the pipe folded, because if the pipe is out and you bring a truck down the side to unload your harvester, the chances is that forest harvester is going to try and chuck the hay in the same truck. So that's why it's very important to keep that pipe folded. Okay, as you can see, that will just keep going and going and going now. So it really doesn't matter what size field you've got, you know, whether you're collecting 20,000 litres or whether you're collecting 3, maybe 400,000 litres. The only thing I will say about it is keep an eye on the speed, because if the speed drops down to around about 5, maybe 4 miles an hour, it probably means that forest harvester at the back is getting a little bit full up. Okay, I've not yet got to the point where it won't take any more stuff, but it will slow down a little bit, so just keep an eye on that. It all depends on the size of the field. So we're just going to quickly empty the harvester. Right, now it's important, because of all the bits and pieces on the back of the harvester, it tends to mess around when it comes to unloading the forage harvester. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a tractor now. We're going to hook a tractor up. And then you'll see as soon as we hook the tractor up, it will automatically then start to unload. And there you go. As I said, the most I've ever got in there is around about 375,000 litres, without having to keep unloading every 5 or 6 minutes. So yeah, it's one of those little things that will save you a bit of time. Yeah. We're just going to check now. So if you have a look now, we'll go across to where it says store, and you'll see that it's about 17,000 litres in there. So that's one way of doing it. Now there is an alternative way. If you don't want to collect it and you want to bale it, we're going to show you a quick setup on that as well. So it's exactly the same harvester. Only difference is now is going to be the hitch. Okay, we're going to use the 620 hitch now instead of the 400. The reason being is because on the 400, as I say, it's offset slightly to the left, but we need it in the center now because we're using the baler. Okay, so we're going to go for exactly the same setup, except for the rear hitch. We're going to use the 620 instead of 400. We need the drawbar, and we're going to need the front lifter. So yet again, drawbar, and we're going to use it with the electric cables. And then we're going to use a front lifter. Now there is another front lifter done by Lizard, which is a standard one. It's got the same stuff on it, it's got the PTO on it and everything else. The only problem I found with the other one is it has a lot of elasticity, in the sense that when you're pulling something along, it will tend to sometimes leave the object behind the baler or the wagon or whatever. So this one here I think was designed originally for the case quad track. It doesn't seem to have the same elasticity, if I'm saying that right, when it comes to pulling stuff along. I haven't had as much problems with this one as I have with the original front hitch, so, or front lifter should I say. You have to excuse the driving here, but for some reason they tend to put all these things so close together with no space, and it's really hard to get to them. So butter baler, there you go. Got it, nearly, there you go. And we'll pick it up as well. Right, lovely. Get that pipe unfolded now. And hook up the baler. And then off we go. Oops, yeah, gonna need a header, aren't I? Let's go and grab a header quickly. As I said earlier on, doesn't matter what header you got, it doesn't necessarily have to be one that allow you to do the tool control, because it's going to work at the same speed whatever header you get. So if you've got a smaller farm and you've only got small fields and you want a smaller header, then go for a smaller header. It's not going to make any difference. So we're just going to attach that, fold that away, get out of the way, and then off we go. The balers, it will do any baler, round balers, square balers. I've just chosen this one because it's a standard one. Yeah, there is another baler I think that you can bale and wrap at the same time, which I'm not sure. I think that might be Lizard that make that. That attaches and that does exactly the same thing as well. So if you want to make silage, you can do that as well. You can bale it and wrap it. It's going to take a lot longer because you've got to obviously stop to unload them. Whereas this one here, the reason I picked this one is because it's automatic unload. So I would suggest finding anything that's automatic unload. So I'll turn the baler on. Keep forgetting to unfold them. That's unfolded. And then off we go. As you can see in the bottom right hand corner there, we're making bales. Yeah, again, still it's as I say, it's only working at 6 miles an hour. I wouldn't recommend using a worker for it, because I'm not sure whether the worker can comprehend the complex, is it complex? Yeah, yeah, the setup. I'm not sure they'll work with the setup. I haven't tried it with a worker. I tend not to use workers. but as you can see we are producing bales as well, so that's another way of doing it. If you want to bale it instead of collecting it loose, then you can do so.